give to John White, who's already had a nice night. Now he's in the secondary. Cuts to the right. He's run down from the gun, and John White flanked to the near side, and the give goes to White. Misdirection, turns it up the middle, touchdown. They really haven't been too threatened. It hasn't been in doubt very long in this game, as White again is going to add to his total, and the Utah win under center again for Utah. Safe give to White, running room up the middle, spins off a tackler. White still on his feet. White defensively.
Well, you can see what Montana State's doing. They're loading the box a little bit, and that's where they're going to get beat on the backside.
And White to the outside, stumbles. Boy, they called. High formation backfield now for Utah. John White getting the call. He's got some room to the outside, cuts it inside again. And
probably needed up to this point in the season.
They're trying to run. John White. Oh, look at John White. Well, there's the kind of run. You'll have to do nothing more than get some points on the board here before halftime. White going outside. Nice job by White there on 2 minutes and a half. Second down play. Delay handoff and a counter run. John White breaking. Power run straight ahead, and White gets in. DeJohn Harris hit him, and John
Mason, you got Davita Stevens, you got Miles Mason, who you
third quarter, right in it. John White, great shot. No guarantee they'll get the ball back. White's got room. White's got room. Utah has room. For Utah.
Well, you run a little G screen. Watch your big lineman, Brenner, coming out and around, and that allows also Davita Stevens, the center, to get out.
And now John Hayes into the ball game. He takes the snap and hands it off to White.
If the Big 12 somehow survives with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State leave, I don't think that'd be the fastest way.
Down in 10. Little counter play. White finding a nice crease and a good game. The prevailing storyline. White again gashing that defense on the right side, and Artist of the Year by the United States Sports Academy, the first sculptor to ever so be honored. And you know what? The Utes sculpting a win out of Lavelle.
Not just good, explosive on offense, and frankly, they're one of the worst offenses statistically in the country.
And White with the turbo kicking in. White breaking ankles. Touchdown, Utes. Where everyone has a voice. And Utah's had the loudest voice tonight. This is White, who scored a touchdown on the last touch. Boy, he's got enough to feed the needy. Candy for
Washington after Jordan Wynn injured his shoulder. Big hole. Here he comes. White scamper. Under 3.5 minutes to play in this opening quarter. Rogers, the tight end, goes in motion. Utah goes back to work, hard running to the 50-yard. And coming up next, they've got Oregon. Utah's got Pittsburgh on the road. White on the run. Kicks it outside, got room at the 40. And is
but 3 picks last week in the loss to Arizona State. John White just putting his head this week for Utah. The pitch, White, first down. Bounces off one tackle, and he'll be dragged in. That's the give to White, avoids one tackle, breaks through an arm tackle inside the 10.
Team in August.
Power eye, White the carry, White the first down. Loose to himself as well. More conventional attack, a big hole for White, down the right side. White across the 40. Thrown by Cousins. These two programs could use Kirk Cousins at quarterback right now. Utah, big gain there. Again by 9 yards and a touchdown. White. Oh, look at the cuts from White. Another first down for Utah. Utah takes it over in the red zone. And they've got a chance to just finish this game off.
McCain, a free run in, and the swing pass set up to White. Breaks a tackle, and White up near a first down. 5-yard pass completion. Here's the give, John White. A burst up the middle. Brought down by...
to lose another quarterback at this point.
The give up the middle. White tries to get outside. 10-5. John White, touchdown.
Showing pressure from the edge is Oregon. And there's the give to White up the middle, and White bursts. And Hayes hands off. White again gets the call. Comes up the middle. And White 2 yards so far here in the first quarter. He gets another opportunity. Bounces it to the left. Finds a hole. Now he's got some running room across the 40-yard line. And driven
here in this at the University of Utah.
Now it's 3rd and 3, and White gets the call up the middle. John White shedding tacklers and has a Kyle Whittingham, whose rush game wasn't there last week, and now White got caught in the John Hayes. And they give to White, and White goes up the middle, spins out of 1 tackle. Hayes now hands it off to the near side, little misdirection play, and
John White.
And John White had 78 yards. Now he spins back and goes up the middle, and John White has scored for Utah. White again. Cuts it back, up the middle. Now he's into the 40, the 45, midfield, he might go. 1 man to beat, got an angle on him, and White is finally ridden down, but... And White's going to get the call again, and he's into the second. He's going to use as much of that clock as he can. Gives to John White. White breaking tackles. White leaning forward. The blocking back for him, and they'll just keep feeding the beast. It's John White. White inside the 10-yard.
Color combination, 205 yards last week. He gets it again. Nice bit of block. 2nd down. White. They were 100% scorers inside the red zone. They give it to John White, and he just puts it down a lot more. They give, once again, is to White. I'll tell you what, he's a tough customer. You start seeing knockout punch if they were to get a score here. They go straight ahead. Still an Angelin fumble, and now the interception. And this is where Utah could throw another snap. White.
The Utah Utes leading the series against Arizona, and John White leading the charge for the big Utah Utes.
And he did
young high school players.
Here's the running to White. There's the extra 10 yards. That's another touchdown.
John Hayes, and he'll give it to White, and White trying the near Asiata off to the right side. And there's the give to White, and he had Asiata blocking for him out there, but UCLA did a great job closing it down. You know, in watching the...
In fact, they got 4 yards right there, but you also get the quarterback, John Hayes, kind of involved in the game a little bit. You see John White...
Congratulations to Ron McBride, who won his final home game at Weber State. He's announced his retirement. The score, 34-31. Makes you think, doesn't it?
For Utah with good field position to get some points on the board.
White with his 9th carry. He had 38 yards going in. He goes across the 3rd and 1. And he'll get an opportunity to get it. He does and more as he steps out of a tackle. Utah as they approach the red zone here, and the toss goes to White. And White trying to get the edge, runs out of 1 tackle.
Things moving forward all the time with him, even when he is moving laterally.
And again, he gets the call. He got a nice block from... And to give us to White. Instead, he goes the other way. Misdirection, and White is getting helped into the end zone. Well...
A much better...
After further review, the runner was down on the half-yard line.
All right, well, that's 1-0 for the... Let's see where... You can't really tell where the ball is. I'm with you, Mike, and the butt goes down right there.
Yeah.
And a ball... White runs into a defensive lineman and stretches for the goal line.
Well, that's got to be a touchdown there, Steve.
They haven't signaled yet. No signal, but I'm with you. That one... There it is. The first initial contact stood him straight up, and he rolled.
Less than 200 pounds, but he plays like a 215-pound running back. He gets smacked right here, but what he's able to do, he turns his body sideways a little bit, starts going backwards, and keeps yard.
But John White managing to spin off the tackle backwards.
His head, everything moving forward, and he'll get 2 yards when he shouldn't get anything.
And White trying to follow a block.
See, they got 8 guys right there in the box.
And on 2nd and 9, White still manages to find.
He's also thrown 1 interception.
So Hayes will look to throw. Again, time. That offensive line buying all kinds of time. And there's a completion in the end zone. Was it a touchdown? Yes. The official confirms it. What a grab in the end zone.
Backfield, the reason why they do that, Steve, it's on a linebacker, and anytime you got a running back.
Back foot, enough air under it to get White.
And some blitz with zone behind it, and that, I think Kevin Prince was hoping for man coverage, got zone coverage.
John White gets his shoulders. And Utah and Conroy Black finishing strong a week ago. Another
John White run.
And that's indeed what it is. Up the middle's got a hole. Stutter steps into the secondary. White at the 5. White scores a touchdown. John game of the season. High snap pulled down, and White gets the football from Hayes. And This was a good snap, and White gets the football. White trying to bounce to the outside. Escapes one tackle. Jumping against the Washington State Cougars. Third win in a row coming, apparently. And here's some running room into the secondary.
In this conference.
A first down for Utah at the 32, and Utes will just let the clock roll as they run the football. And White.
Yards. Harvey Lange has 70 yards.
White again gets the carry on first.
Chance to throw the football in a good spot.
Devontae Christopher hauling it in for a Utah first down. First conversion on third. White again. Weaving his way through, found the hole, and for Utah.
And John White.
And John White, absolutely. Following his blocking. White out of the I formation. And he'll give to John White on first down. Into the secondary, and he's blocking back up. And White, who fumbled on the last possession, gets the call from the tailback position, still on his feet. And then
this offense put some points on the board.
First and 10, Utah from their own 12 as White goes around the left side, breaks two tackles.
Down the field deep, just with underthrown a little bit.
Toss to White, looking for a block, gets it from Asiata, still on his feet, has the first down and more. And White now will just push the behind the motion man. John White with the ball again, sticks his nose in and goes straight ahead.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Utah. And the Utes break.
And they get 15 yards because someone gets a little bit too overzealous.
John White gets the call, bounces to the outside. John White, they won't catch him. One man has a chance, and John White's going to score a touchdown. Wow. Chuck carries on the night, Mike. 35 carries for John White, 36 on this one. And John White makes the first man miss today.
John White, Asiata in the backfield. And on the ground they go. White pounds his way, and that is what you...
Tight end here for Utah.
White left slips the first. They have an outstanding bowl record. Left side.
It's a football game or something.
Yes, indeed. On first down. This is John White, the fourth leaders in all of college ball. There we go again. This time at left tackle. And at Snow College before he enrolled. And here's another plunge over left tackle. White again, this time a sweep to the right. You're a big fan.
I do.
All right, good enough.
Here we go.
Promos are one of our lead cameramen back home in Connecticut. Here we go. John White. This has been an anemic Utah offense in this half. Here's John White. That's the largest
Years ago.
And he will become a head coach for the first time when he heads Utah trailing by 14. They've got it, plus inside the 20. White. He gets it again. And he is hit.
Oh, that was Star.
Yep. Third down. Here comes the rush.
Yep.
Touchdown, John White. This game is over.
You close was his knee down.
Yeah.